Guys, just doing a little garden harvesting tonight. I want to see what I've got. My strawberries and eggies. I actually usually collect my eggs in the afternoon, evening because I don't know, like there's like that thing that's like you collect eggs in the morning, but actually no. Like my hens don't lay eggs in the morning, so there's usually like one egg in the morning. So anyways, I'm just out here collecting a little bit of these Seascape strawberries. And what else do I have? Oh, sorry, there's my finger. I'll give a little garden update on a few things that are happening around. So let's turn this baby around. All right, so here we have a couple Glacier. These are a determinant style variety tomato, and this Glacier is kind of like a, medium, like a large plum size. And they're kind of a juicy, they're not really like a paste tomato, sort of a juicy mini slicer. So I'll just add those babies to the basket. And this one is a sweet aperitif, so they get the teeny tiniest little baby cherries, and they're just finally starting to come in. And actually, I don't know, I think this has a ton of wind damage. I'm not sure. I've never really had tomatoes that had this kind of a look before, so I don't know if it's something else. I hope it's not. I hope it's not like some kind of a... I don't actually know about tomato diseases, so don't laugh at me if you do, but like I've heard of like, I think it's potatoes get the blight. These can get root knot nematode, which I've never had anything like that, so I'm just hoping it's just the wind. Or maybe it's just this variety, because these Glacier look beautiful. So anyways, that's what's happening here. We've got some snapdragons just pretty over there, and a little sunflower that's trying to creep up. I've got some dill that's replanted itself, so we'll just let that go. And that's that bed with some pretty little cosmos that seeded themselves last year. Coming on over here, these strawberries, I think they're going to get yanked this year. They're pretty little. This was supposed to be a pumpkin that, ooh, boy, buddy, I don't know, mid-August, and it's only this size of a plant. I don't think that's happening this year. And the same with this butternut squash. We'll see. I mean, that one's got at least a trailer on it, so it's got a little bit of a tail. So that one has more of a fighting chance. And then tons of snapdragons that are just beautiful. This is such a messy chaos garden, but I can't help to just take these out because they look so pretty. It's just going to be barren soil if I take them out, even though they're not like in perfect rows and things. And then these cucumbers. Oh, what is that? Why does that have little black? Anyways, there's a little cucumber coming up. And, I guess this one has those too. It's just their little spikies. So that little cucumber is coming up. And then I see a few more little baby cucumbers here. Oh, there's one. So it looks like we'll be getting some cucumbers soon. These are, I believe, I don't think they're like a pickling. I just spotted a strawberry. I gotta go get it. I don't think they're pickling. I think they're just kind of a medium. There's a nice little looking berry. Well, maybe not. That one needs another day. It's still a little pink. We want them nice and ripe and juicy. So that's what's happening in that bed. These guys I gotta cut back. Like the oregano has gone to seed almost. This is definitely a chaos, but the pollinators are very active in there and they love it, love it, love it. This one I just picked some strawberries off of. The plants are kind of puny, but I think the drip line is not doing great, so I need to change out that drip line next year. I'm not even gonna bother this year. I'm just kind of hand watering. And then under the burlap, I had carrots in there that I yanked already, and then I just reseeded. I don't actually know. I think they will be ready by winter, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not really sure on carrot timelines, honestly. It's kind of just a learning curve. The spring ones, a lot of people say that the spring ones are not as sweet. And then if you can get them going now again before winter, they'll be a lot sweeter. And then beyond that, we have some leeks. So that's a nice looking leek right there, that guy. Check that out. So that's good. And this tomato that's creeping along. The salvia, I already cut back once. That's going to get transplanted out. Look at that thing. It's taken over the whole bed. That's just crazy talk. And then this bed, I had onions in here, and those just got pulled. They're in the garage drying. And then some bitter melon that I have no idea why, like only a few. Well, I do know why. I had to change out the drip line, and then it turns out this side was not that great either. But these bitter melon that my husband wants to experiment with, he grew up eating that, and so we're gonna see if those will make it in time. And then another tomato, and this is ready for some other things, so I'm not sure what that is gonna be yet. Maybe the brassicas that are getting ready to go out, but I'm not quite sure. So anyway, let's just skip on. These are brand new. These are brand new strawberries this year, this row. See, they're just getting crowded out by this salvia. So those are all brand new. So they haven't berried, but they will next year. They'll be great. So I'm excited about those. So let's go to the greenhouse. There's a few things happening in the greenhouse. I'm going to leave my basket behind because it's kind of wonky. We'll go up to the greenhouse and just take a little peek. Oh, on the way to the greenhouse, right next to the chicken coop, we've got the tag wore off. I can read it later. It's a paste tomato though. So there's one on there. Got some snapdragons in here as well. This one is a Federle paste. Look at that. That's a long, interesting shape. Wow. Look at that. That's crazy. So I've had these seeds for a while, but I never had them produce because my plants, the year previously that I grew them, the plants got slapped to crap in the wind, and so they just never matured. The plants died. And then this one is Cipolla's Pride, which is a paste tomato, an Italian paste. I don't see anything on this one right now. And then we've got a couple of really good shishito pepper plants on this corner, and these are doing really nicely, really tender. And then some green beans. These are the leftover of what didn't get munched out by earwigs, from what I'm gathering. Munched them. Look at that shishito. It's a good looking shishito. So that is that guy. This had potatoes and onions in it, and now I have some sunflowers. So these should mature in time by fall. I've done that before, like in August, planting of sunflowers, and then I have them for the fall. And then these tomatoes I'm gonna yank. They look pretty pathetic. And then I've got 2 beds of compost, and so over the next year, that's going to turn into compost, and then beyond this is for another day. Look at this. This is just chaos, guys. Look at these tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4 tomatoes right there. And they're just ginormous. There's some red ones in there, just almost like turning blushy pink. So anyway, that looks like a crazy mess, but it's just tomatoes and then some pumpkins behind it. And then our fence roll stacked, like, work in progress, my friends, work in progress. Okay, let's go into the greenhouse. So we'll just pass by. These are so pretty. Look at the snapdragons. I do love snapdragons. I think they're just so gorgeous. They're too far beyond to cut for a vase. They'll just wither away really fast if they've already bloomed all the way to the top. So you have to do it when they're more like this, where there's still some blooms at the top. But this one is not very, this one looks a little better. This would be more like one you would cut for a vase. Let me see if I can find another one. So if you're cutting for a vase, yep, kind of like this. Even that one's a little bit too far gone. But either way, they are just so colorful and pretty and bright. And honestly, I'm surprised that they're going in the hot of the summer, because I thought that snapdragons don't love it when it's hot. Maybe that's just for the germination. I don't know, but they're doing great. So that's exciting. So that's good. My little dwarf nectarine, that turns out it's not a nectarine because it had fuzzy little yummy juicy peaches on it. That's all done. And they were delicious. And then this little bed in the making. These are just kind of in holding. Maybe I'll leave it, maybe I won't. We'll see. It's always a work in progress. Let's go into the greenhouse, which also looks like chaos. I mean, this looks like craziness in camera. It's kind of like when you take a picture of your house and you don't realize how messy it is, but this is like beautiful stuff. So let me just show you around. This pomegranate, my one pomegranate, one single little guy. So that's very exciting. This one's gonna stay in a pot for a while. And then I've got some bush cucumbers. So one's coming along, that one just seeded. And here is some green beans, some pole beans. I'm gonna turn off the fan so I don't have to shout. So down these are some geraniums that I grew this year from seed. And our pathetic little lavender. I don't know what's to happen with this lavender. We'll see how it does. We're gonna have to pot them up for the winter because right now they're looking pretty shabby. We lost a lot of them in the heat, but oh well. Glacier tomato, another one like the one that was just outside. Actually, I should pick these, the one that was out there. In fact, if it's already blushed like this, you can pick it. It'll continue ripening inside. And just a little hint, especially if you're cutting or picking heirlooms or growing heirlooms, or you get them at the farmer's market, put it what they call on the shoulders. So if you're going to put it on your counter, you want to put it upside down. If you put it on this end here, they get squished and swishy. So put it on the shoulders end, especially those juicy heirlooms. And then this guy, oh, these look beautiful. I believe this is a chocolate, Black Angel. Yeah, so kind of that purpley red heirloom. That's going to be so juicy and so yummy. And then these are paste tomatoes that I restarted because I can't remember. Oh, I know. So I didn't have a good place to put them, and then they kind of got withered away in here. And so I was like, well, what the heck? I'm just going to restart them. And they're doing like amazing. Like they're catching up to the ones outside, which is really cool. So here's that sweet aperitif I was telling you about that was out in that other garden bed. So look at how tiny these little baby cherries are. I got to set these glaciers down. Look at these little tiny little baby little, but they're the sweetest little thing. Oh my gosh. So yummy. Even that, it's not even ripe. They're so good. So this is called Sweet Aperitif. And they're just like the yummiest little snacking. They're loaded. This one's done really well for me. I had them in outside in the garden beds, like in the ground, 2 years previously. And they did really well. So really prolific. And if I get too many and it starts getting a little wild and crazy, I'll just chop this little guy off right here and just leave the tower center. Because pretty much myself, I eat the tomatoes. My husband, sometimes. My daughter, no. My son, well, we just dropped him off in college. So yeah, still sad, but it's okay. And then I've got this mandarin. So I'm hoping that little guy hangs on. There's one little mandarin on there. Yep, I think that's all I see. So I'm hoping, but this thing has gotten a lot of new growth. Look at all that. When I got it, at the end of the winter, it was just one little kind of dark green. You can see the twiggy just up down the center, and all this has some new growth on it. It's doing really, really good in here. So I'm hoping that that's going to just continue to do well, and then over time we'll just have lots of yummy mandarins. How fun is that? I'm very excited about that. Yeah, let's check this side. I don't think there's any on this side. Nope, just the one. So it's the lone, the lone mandarin along with the lone pomegranate. And then over here, I planted some more basil. And I think I'm going to thin these out a little bit. Leave a few sprigs each little mound. But why not? If you've got the greenhouse space, why not? Let's see what happens. Let's see how long we can get this basil going. Keep it going into the fall. I think that'd be really awesome, especially because all of these tomatoes are coming into season. Plenty more to come, and then to make sauce, like the saucing tomatoes are not even close to ready yet, so I'm going to need basil. So it's either that or the stuff that I have outside right now. I'm turning into pesto because it's just trying to go to flower. It's like, I'm done. Let's go to flower and just wrap up this little summer season. But the timing is not perfect. So I think next year what I'll do is I'm going to succession plant my basil. That way, if some wants to go to flower, I can let it. And then once I have it, another round of it, it'll be ready exactly when the tomatoes are coming in. And so that'll be really good. So anyways, I just up-potted these geraniums recently. These are called White to Rose is the seed variety. And they're doing all right. I think they're doing better now. They've put on some new growth since I've up-potted them because they were just in the little 4-inch pots, and these are so cute. So anyways, it's all kind of just packed in here. This is the pole bean that I have down here right now from Territorial Seeds. I don't know if it's going to have purple. We'll see. Anyway, one little one. Oh, two. There's another one. That one sprouted. So that's exciting. So I think I put 2 or 3 was my goal. I put 4 because then I was going to leave 3 and then I'm just going to trellis it with some bamboo stakes. So that's pretty much it. Some zinnia. I don't know if it's too late for these. I don't think it is because I've succession planted these before, but I want to say I did it in July. So we'll see what happens. Everything is like a we'll see. Like, this is not the channel that you're going to learn everything from. You might learn some tricks that I've figured out so far, but I'm not a teaching channel. This is just for fun and inspiration and to see what I've got going. And my little figs, there they are. And that not everything has to be Instagram worthy and perfect. I mean, it is a pretty perfect greenhouse, I think. But you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be perfect. So anyways, and you don't need a greenhouse. You don't need a greenhouse to grow. But if you do want to grow a lot of food, get a greenhouse. So that's that. But okay, friends, that's it for now. I'm going to go finish my rosé. I didn't even bring my rosé along the rosé tour because I had my basket of goodies. And we'll just leave it with our pretty little pomegranate and just hope that this little guy keeps hanging on strong. Lone survivor.